Right, so we'll relay the questions. You'll relay the questions to the chat. Okay, good. So we're biting into our lunch hour, folks. Let's thank all the speakers one more time. I'd like to take maybe, if we can, at least 10. I know we did 5 minutes of questions. Maybe let's take another 10 to 15 minute more if you can, and let's have some questions for the speakers. So I'm going to start off first in the room. Jean-François, why don't you go ahead, ask your question, then we're going to go to online. And I don't know who was first. I think Chris Merchant, you're number one, Chris Merchant, after Jean-François. Go ahead, Jean-François.
Okay, so this is a question to Jean-Louis from CNES. So you showed that for the delivery of the data, the preferred format will be COG. You mentioned possibly ZAR, and it was also written NetCDF in your slide. So is there any chance that you provide some GHRSST compliant data? And if it's not possible, and if GHRSST was to provide some COG version of the GHRSST format specification, would that be something that you would be able to implement in order to comply to format requirements?
Okay, so regarding the format, indeed, we first think about the COG format for the rasters, but regarding the huge number of files that will be processed and generated by the TRISHNA processing, there could be some difficulties for the data lake where we will store the data. And that's why we are also looking at the ZAR zipped format. But what we first, of course, we are compliant with the COS ARD, but we also look at, as I said, as for an harmonization with LSTM and SBG, and also we look at the GHRSST format, data product format specification. So we try to make a kind of a compromise between all these different sources of format in order to be the compliant to the most important number of communities. But this is still under construction, as I said. So there's still some chance, as you said, that we can be compliant to GHRSST format specification.
And next we'll go online, and Chris Merchant, go ahead, unmute yourself and ask your question.
Thank you. My question is also to Jean-Louis about your presentation cut out, at least online, at the crucial moment when you were talking about the plans for where the water will go, inland water compared to estuaries compared to coastal zones. So could you just tell us what we didn't hear, please?
Okay, so yes, I heard that there was a sort of cut in the sound. It was in the perspective, the last slide, in the perspective slide. Is that okay? Yes. Okay. So you ask. Okay. So currently we have some different hypotheses regarding the algorithm, the specific water algorithms to be processed on the data, TRISHNA data. So we do not know currently. We study all the different hypotheses linked also with the volumetry topic, because it can have an impact on the volumetry also. And we do not know currently if we will apply the algorithm, the water variable specific algorithms on the water location, but the data will be included in the global variables. So you will find on the same variables, you will have land variables computed with land algorithms and water variables computed with water variables, but on the same raster, let's say. Or the second option is to create specific water variables over dilated water mask, where you will have the water variables with the water algorithms, and non-applicable NA on everything else in the raster. So we do not know currently what will be our strategy regarding this, and we still think about the impacts with on volumetry, and also we look we work together with the French water community also to tell us what can be the advantages and the drawbacks and the advantages of each solution. So it's a kind of optimization.
Thank you. I think projects like the Lake Climate Change Initiative project will also be interested in this discussion.
Yes, of course.
Thanks, guys. We're going to move on to another question online. And I don't know who that is. I did see who's number 2 now after.
That's me.
Go ahead.
This question is from Prasanjit. Very interesting talk. Thank you. I was wondering, for the trend analysis, is there a requirement for the minimum time length for the time series data that you have, or does it make sense to, if you, for example, you have only like 15 years data, does it make sense to apply the method to?
Yeah, no, good question, I think. A quick and short answer would be, if you're looking for decadal trend, let's say, decadal trend, 10 years. In that case, think about your Nyquist frequency, so you should have at least like 20 years of data. Does that make sense? So you're going to report decadal trend, think about at least having 20. Chris's data is about 35 years or something when he gave that talk, so that's good enough for decadal studies actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Makes sense.
We'll keep in touch. Yeah, that it does. Thanks. I'll get in touch with you for your paper.
Sure, definitely. Thanks.
All right, I think we have time for probably 2 more questions, right? I know you guys are itching for lunch. And 1 more question. We'll see. Okay, there's a question online, I believe, from Jorge was next online, but I do have a quick question, or I will yield to somebody on local. That's true. Go ahead online. I think that was you, Jorge. I don't know who has his number after.
After Jorge, it's Igor.
Okay, just Jorge then.
Thank you. Just a quick question, Prashna. That was a really interesting presentation. Thank you. I noticed that in the area of the Pacific off of South America, the trends were decreasing. Do you have any thoughts? Is that because of the maybe the decreasing circulation, with water coming up from Antarctica and the currents in that area? Any thoughts on that? A very interesting result, I thought.
Thanks, Jorge. I think it will require really like a little bit detailed discussion. Maybe
okay.
We back up. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that would be fine. I just found that a super interesting result.
Thank you. I think we should also look at the ocean color parameters there as well, which we have to make the kind of interpretation all together. And which areas you're referring to, I might have some thoughts, but let's take that offline.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you.
We're going to go for one final question. I believe that's Igor that has his hands raised up. Go ahead, Igor, ask your question, please.
Hi, thanks. And a question for you, Ed. Quite interesting talk. And I see now that both you on another side and NOAA are using Amazon for their with their specific services, like you mentioned, Lambda or EC2. On our side, in Europe, we're using some other cloud providers like Wikeo, and it will be some presentation and indication tomorrow. So, but there are some different services exposed, and maybe in slightly bit different way. So I think it's also kind of following what Chris mentioned yesterday, how to ensure from the user point of view that we have smooth or transparent transition between using different cloud providers, because of course not all data will be on the same type of cloud provider. What is your opinion on this? Thanks.
That is a very challenging situation and don't have a really good answer or solution for you at the moment. NASA has chosen to work with AWS, and I think we'll be in AWS for at least the short-term future, a while down the road. Cloud to cloud, I think, that's something that really the community needs to step up and make some progress on. There's no one agency that really can bring much solution space to that issue. So, I mean, the good thing is that, well, the agency should continue to provide for things like open APIs so that you do move cloud to cloud. At least, there's some stability in the access methods and things of that nature. But it is a challenge. So, we're going to this cloud and there are different clouds, as you mentioned. So how to all work together and harmonize everything is going to be challenging down the road. There's not going to be an easy solution to this.
Thanks.
Yeah, it goes towards interoperability as well. So that's the answer for right now.